Ladies and gentlemen, what is up and welcome back today to another Marvel Strike Force tutorial video. In this one, we're going to be talking about all of the best characters in Marvel Strike Force and really going into what makes a lot of these characters really valuable at the moment and some of the abilities they have, the synergies, the utility, because there is so much to talk about. We're going to glance over and kind of quickly give you guys kind of the base information, because for every single one of like the top characters, there's like a 10-15 minute video I can make on all the pro tips and matchups and various scenarios, but today we just kind of aim to, you know, fill you and give you the basic understanding of what makes a lot of the top characters in the game currently so good, so that you can be aware that certain mechanics exist within the game, because yeah, there's a lot of complexity to various matchups as you're progressing, and a lot of really interesting stuff that some characters can bring to the table. So yeah, today we've already done kind of a pro tips video. We talked about which characters are worth farming, so if you want to check that one out. But yeah, we'll probably also drop quite a bit of that information as we progress throughout the video today. But anyway, we're going to start kind of on the top row here on my account. I'm going to start with Gamora, who is personally my favorite character in the game. I don't think she's the best one at the moment. I think she's top 5. She's just such a fun champion to play. Gamora is all about that big single target damage. So for her ultimate ability, it's just an insanely hard-hitting single target attack. When she uses it, she gains offense up, which increases damage by 50%, and then yeah, just attacks for 320% of her base damage. But if this lands a kill, which most of the time, if you're targeting somebody, you know, kind of below 50% or a fairly low health opponent, it fills the speed bar up by 100%, essentially granting you an additional turn. So you can use another ability, and then you have the offense up as well, which on the second attack, Ruthless Blade attacks the primary target for 190% damage, but then has a 50% chance to chain on to adjacent targets for additional damage, and if it kills any one of these targets, then again fills that speed bar up by 100%. So if you plan Gamora right with your matchups and fights, you can essentially get like 3 turns in one. It's so much fun. Like, Gamora is such a great character to play. And then just on her basic kind of slashing attack, she can attack the primary target, but then has a chance to bonus attack. But then when you upgrade her further, once we get to level 60, which is the cap at the moment, that bonus attack can actually be up to 2 times, and that is just insane single target damage there. So Gamora, she's kind of my favorite single target damage dealer, because she can just mop up a lot, and also via her synergy as well, kind of a passive, she gains additional crit chance, applies crit chance to Guardians allies, and also additional crit chance to every single other ally in Kritza. Yeah, awesome for a really nice amount of bonus damage there. So Gamora, she's definitely kind of in what I would classify as my top 5 at the moment, but we're going to have a tier list out soon. Now, Quake is one of the characters I believe is top 2 in the game. She is so easy to pick up and farm very early on. Now, what makes Quake really so powerful is just kind of a standard basic attack, is a free person cleave. Actually, it can be more if minions are summoned as well. Will attack kind of the target and the one to the left and right of it, and if any minions are in between, it will also hit those as well. So attacks for 100% damage, which isn't like too much, but it's a solid chunk there, but also applies slow to the primary target. Now, slow reduces the amount that the speed bar fills up by 50%, so it's so powerful for really just shutting enemies down and really slowing the team down, especially with Black Widow, who can speed up all of your team. If you've got Black Widow, if you've got Quake, you're slowing down the enemy, you're speeding up your team, you're pretty much getting like an additional turn every time. It's just so crazy powerful at the moment. So yeah, Quake is amazing. You want to farm her as soon as possible, get her maxed out. The special, the second attack does a little bit of damage, and it also guarantees that you're going to clear 1 positive effect, but then also has a chance to only a 40% chance to chain up to additional opponents and clear positive effects on them as well. So yeah, you've essentially got a dispel or a nullify or whatever you want to refer to it on the special 2 there, and the special 3, which is so fun, especially if you synergize the special 3. We'll talk about what it does first. So it attacks all enemies for 270% damage plus applies offense down on 3 enemies for 1 turn. And again, as you level the character up, if you get it to 60, this is going to apply to 5 enemies. And offense down essentially like reduces attack by 50%. So yeah, not only does it deal a crazy amount of damage, also cuts their damage in half. And combined with Kingpin, you just have this insane synergy where you can really beef up the damage of the Earthquake, reduce all of the opponent's damage by a substantial amount, and also gain the defense up from Kingpin's, special as well, which we'll talk about, which, yeah, combined with offense down, pretty much makes your characters take no damage for another turn. So Quake, really combined with a lot of these other utility champions, can be used to such a huge advantage in certain matchups where you can make certain stuff a breeze. So yeah, Quake, super, super valuable character. And then also her passive ability grants her extra focus, so focus is the chance for effects to apply on the opponent. Shield allies gain 5% damage, and in human allies, which I don't believe there are any in the game at the moment, they gain a little bit more focus as well. But yeah, it's just not, you know, the passive isn't too great on Quake, but it's certainly a nice little bonus there. But she's just a utility goddess, so valuable. Now we have Drax. Now Drax has kind of gone through a little bit of a weird transition in Strike Force so far. So he's amazing at the start. Last patch he wasn't so good, but today he has become again like one of the top tanks in the game, because the only thing Drax used to do is he taunts right at the start of the fight via his passive ability, and also gains an increase to his drain. So via his attacks, he deals damage, but also steals life back. This dude has a huge health pool as well. Now, the problem with Drax used to be that he couldn't taunt outside of the spawn, which made him, you know, after the start of the fight, a little bit useless. But now they've added a taunt to his special too, along with defense up and also counter. So that's so powerful, man. So powerful. He spawns with taunt. You have taunt active as well, so as long as your opponent doesn't have like a Jessica Jones Hawkeye, this dude is just like a brick wall to get through. It can be very valuable in certain matchups. The special one does damage, also drains health based on the damage dealt, and also his ultimate here does attacks the primary target, drains, and also can chain up to additional 6 opponents for a huge amount of damage, and also, you know, siphoning health back as well. So yeah, Drax went from, yeah, being quite good to being rubbish to being an absolute beast today, so he's got a lot more value. So yeah, that's really awesome there. Captain America as well, amazing tank character, one of the best at the moment, fantastic for support. The main thing he has is on his second ability, he gains taunt, defense up, and then it's just throwing out ability energy to all of the characters that you have, allowing them to use their special and ultimate attacks faster, and guarantees that he's going to apply it to Avengers, so teamed up with a character like Thor that you can gain from raids, or Iron Man, which you'll be able to get shortly in the future from a shield event, is, yeah, really awesome and interesting synergy there. Also, Shield Throw has basically chucks his shield out, ton of damage on that, dispels effects, can chain on, and yeah, it's just a really like fun and satisfying one to fire off. And then when paired up with Avengers allies, he has great chance to block, and blocking essentially reduces damage and also allows him to resist kind of effects like stun, like blind, anything that would crowd control him. And yeah, the more Avengers you have, the more he's going to be blocking, mitigating damage, reducing the chance for effects to apply. So yeah, Captain America, just a fantastic tank champion overall. And yeah, also via his Inspire, applies defense up to some of the various allies, and also just on his standard gets defense up as well, and defense up is just plus 50, essentially minus 50% damage taken is a way to look at it. So offense up and defense up, plus 50% damage output, minus 50% damage received, just to kind of keep that in mind. Now we have Black Widow, who has become a little bit unattainable today. I'm not really too sure what their plan is for making Black Widow available. She used to be super early on, but now she's not in any of the missions at all. So she has a speed up buff, which is super good because it's plus 50% speed, has a chance to apply, but as you will further upgrade this character, it becomes a lot more guaranteed. And yeah, speed up is plus 50% speed, so that is the main thing there. She's a stun on her third attack, which it also can chain and apply a bleed for quite a bit of damage to multiple targets, and also via her kind of standard, first attack has a chance to copy positive effects and also clear them on the target. And yeah, she's just a great character. Also, via her speed up on the second one, she applies stealth as well. So that is super, super valuable there. And this video, man, I've got so much to talk about with all the characters like we've been rattling off. So I'm just trying to summarize stuff that, you know, is kind of relevant for the early game as quickly as possible. Again, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't want in-depth breakdowns on various characters, post which characters you want me to cover in the comments below, and we'll do some big in-depth videos. But I'm just going to hammer out some of the kind of earlier available ones. So we've got Hawkeye. So Hawkeye is great because he has kind of a mass dispel and clears positive effects via his second attack. So that's great for kind of getting through taunters. Hawkeye also has an area of effect blind, which guarantees that you're going to apply blind to the primary target, and also has a 50% chance to apply blind to 3 additional targets. So this can be essentially like a stun on up to 4 targets if, you know, you get lucky on this. But there are a few characters that are completely immune to blind, like Daredevil, for example, and also Hawkeye. So yeah, blind is, you know, kind of circumstantial, can be very effective against characters like Gamora, Winter Soldier, Hulk. So yeah, it can be very, very useful at certain points. And also Hawkeye has the ability, a chance on turn to not only clear stealth, but also deal damage to targets that are stealth, so can potentially help with nuking down Black Widows, Elektra, anybody that goes into stealth there. So Hawkeye is a great utility character to have for sure. Also, we have Spider-Man, who's incredibly relevant to a lot of early game players. Super awesome damage dealing champion via his second attack, which pretty much he's a very, very fast character, so he starts the fight quite quickly. You fire this off, you got defense down to each target, while your primary target, 50% chance to apply, but when, again, once the level cap hits 16, you can upgrade this character, and once you get there, it's going to be guaranteed chance to apply defense down, which is essentially plus 50% damage. Combined with this offense up, you can get some crazy damage out of the character. So you apply the web slinger, hopefully get the defense down, like nuke a single target with Gamora, and yeah, like this character can be so, so powerful. But also Spider-Man is really annoying to fight because as you upgrade his Spidey sense, he gains more dodge chance. There are certain abilities in the game that are unavoidable damage, which can mitigate dodge if you're looking to fight Spider-Man, but that's super useful. And then also via his third attack, he applies the stun to a primary target, which is super useful for like cracking down on another Spider-Man, a Nebula, or, you know, stunning a target right before they're about to use their kind of big ultimate ability. So yeah, stun is super valuable. And also via his kind of standard basic attack, good amount of damage, chance to chain onto the opponents, also gains a 40% chance to get guaranteed evades. That is super, super useful as well. So yeah, Spider-Man is a really great character to pick up early on. 4 as well. 4 isn't necessarily one of the best characters. The main problem with 4 at the moment is he's quite slow, so he's very, very susceptible to like stun, bleed, slow down. Really, really going to give him the character. But if you can build a shield team around him and have Captain America, Black Widow, you can funnel that power, that speed into him quite quickly. He can become an absolute wrecking ball. Now, 4 has, I guess the main things, you got a hammer throw, which can chain up to 9 adjacent targets. Now, this is amazing if it chains on and hits every single opponent. It's a little bit of a gamble, very kind of high risk, high reward on this one. But yeah, it can be a very, very powerful area of effect. But also via his ultimate ability, attacks all enemies for 200% damage, applies stun to the primary target, and then has a 30% chance to apply stun to every single other target. This is great, man. It's so much damage, guaranteed stun on one target, and yeah, you've got a good chance to stun, you know, kind of 1 or 2 additional targets as well, depending on the amount of opponents you're fighting. So yeah, 4, he's super, super fun to play, especially if you can get energy generating characters and just funnel a lot of yeah, that energy into him, maximize those lightning storms, and it is a really, really good time. So Iron Man, Nobu, they're a little bit out of reach. Daredevil, he's great, he's a lot of fun, he's just kind of a brawler champion. He'll get in there, chain on, you just have really a lot of damage, a lot of chaining there, a bit of counter attack on the second one, and yeah, just a lot of damage with yeah, nothing like too special. He's just kind of like a lot of melee damage there, but he's a very good character. We also have what is it, Rocket Raccoon and Crossbones, which we'll talk about about next who are quite relevant. So Rocket Raccoon, he just deals so much damage. So the standard one is basically like a free target cleave, kind of like Quake, but quite a bit more damage there. And on the special 2, you have a very high like single target and also a good chance to gain assist. Now Rocket Raccoon, I feel like, is a character that when Groot is added to the game, he's all about that Groot, man, because he has some amazing synergies with Groot that basically give them like additional damage, like a guaranteed taunt, because Rocket is incredibly flimsy. He needs somebody like Drax, needs somebody like Groot to hide behind, because he's a very, very easy character to get down, because he doesn't have much health, doesn't have much armor, but if he can survive for a few turns, maximum damage. This is like an insane amount of damage on the third special, and also gains counter. And yeah, if Groot is on the team, like, this damage is only increased even more. So yeah, Rocket Raccoon, very, very powerful character. In his passive, he gains like a chance to apply random positive effects to allies. So this can be stuff like offense up, which it usually is, and if that's combined with maximum damage, again, the damage is just phenomenal there. Then we have up next Crossbones as well, who is a bit of a damage tank. Now, he's got a taunt mechanic. The taunt mechanic on Crossbones, you don't really want to use that for the most part. Crossbones is all about that third attack, the detonate. Insane amount of damage. You get double death proof as well, which makes you immune to 2 killing blows. But yeah, this is crazy damage, especially when you apply it with offense up or defense down. You can just absolutely destroy the opponent team. So Crossbones, he's a fantastic character to really go in and blow up some arena matches. He's not necessarily maybe that great for content like raids, where you have a health pool that continues over, because, you know, he's exploding himself, he's dealing a lot of damage, but he's really fun for arena and also stuff like Blitz and questing. When you really just need to get in there and blow the opponent up as quickly as possible. So yeah, that's really kind of the main use for Crossbones. Get those big detonations in. Luke Cage, he's a very supporty, tanky character. Has a potential 2-turn taunt when he reaches level 58, which is super nice. A little bit of regeneration there as well. Also can funnel ability energy into allies, which is super useful there. But he's kind of, yeah, a bit of a support tank character. Then we have Yondu. Yondu is amazing, man. He's arguably top 2 character with Quake at the moment. So Yondu has on his first attack single target damage, guarantees that you're going to clear 1 positive effect from the target, so you can remove something like death proof or like some really annoying debuff like taunt, for example. Great for getting through opponents like that. The second one, you summon 1 to 2 Ravager allies. Now, these can either be a damage-dealing Ravager, which has a single target and a splash cleave as well, or Ravager Stitcher, which can heal your team. So yeah, just really, really valuable. Any scenario where you're not fighting an opponent that has a lot of area effects. So, for example, if you can build a team with like 1 or 2 tanks and just keep on summoning Ravager allies like Yondu, you can like spiral out, be crazy. Especially if you have somebody like a Captain America or Drax or a Luke Cage, you can hide behind 2 of those characters and just keep on funneling ability energy into Yondu. Stuff can get pretty damn insane. So yeah, I really, really like that. And then we have the third one, which is YAKA Arrow. Oh my gosh, this is such a good kind of area of effect attack, changed to all enemies who aren't in stealth. It is undodgeable piercing damage, so ignores armor, can't be evaded by Spider-Man, can't be evaded by Nebula. Insane damage there, super, super valuable character. And also via his, final passive ability. So he has a 50% chance just to copy a positive effect off one enemy and then apply it to himself. And also clears the positive effect from an enemy. So this can be stuff like offense up, it can be stealth, it can be stuff like death proof. So much value there. It's fantastic. Yondu is the boy, man. He's just such a really, really awesome character. And yeah, I would say top 2 at the moment with Quake as well. Korath, ton of single target damage if you can farm him. Nebula, very annoying character to fight if you're fighting a lot of single target damage. She has the main thing on Nebula is the evade, man. Like on a third special, you gain 2 guaranteed evades, and if your opponent doesn't have a way to deal with that, like, she can be very great for mitigating a lot of single target damage if people are attacking into her. But Nebula is very annoying. We have Kingpin. Kingpin, I would say, is arguably top 5 at the moment. Very, very powerful, kind of support character. He's very, very chunky, has a ton of health. Via his kind of ultimate ability, applies defense up to all allies for 2 turns, so just slows the fight down substantially, and applies offense up to 4 allies, and also has a 20% chance for an assist, but it's mainly the defense up, the offense up that makes this so powerful when synergized with, you know, characters that we talked about earlier, like Quake, Yondu, some of the big hard-hitting abilities, like really putting some of these abilities together and lining them up, you can decimate enemy teams, so it's very, very powerful there. But Kingpin, he's fantastic for support, and also via his second ability, summons 2 bodyguards, which start with Taunt, and then also have a Taunt ability that you can use right the turn after, so they can take like some big hits if you are up against maybe somebody like an Ultimus, like a Winter Soldier, a Korath, and or an Iron Man, and they have these big single target abilities coming up. You can pop this, they can eat up some of those big attacks, and yeah, Bob's your uncle, man. So those bodyguards, if you use them at the right time, but when you're playing minion characters, you need to be like used to when various opponents are going to use their area of effect abilities, because if you use this ability and your opponent's about to, you know, like you're fighting a Quake and she's about to use an Earthquake, then yeah, that's going to like instantly make this ability quite redundant. So you got to play fairly smart when it comes to minions. There's nothing too special about the special one on Kingpin. It's just a standard battle with a chance to gain assist as well. And also via his passive, at the start of each villain ally's turn, 15% chance for an ally to gain a team attack that turn, which is a really nice amount of additional damage there. And yeah, this just goes up and up and up. So Kingpin works great, because even like champion characters like the bodyguards, the Ravengers, some of the Yondu, sorry, the Nobu minion, the hand minions that he summons, really combining those 3 characters together and having like all these villains, all the assist, can make the damage go really, really crazy when it comes to some of these characters. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So we've got Hulk up next, who is a pretty good tank. Like, he's a bit of a beefy boy, and if your opponent doesn't have any way to get rid of the Taunt, if you synergize him with somebody like Kingpin that can apply defense up, he can be a massive brick wall. But Hulk is very, very slow, and at the moment, slow characters, especially because there's so many ways to deal with dispelling stuff like Taunt, they're not really having like top value in a lot of the scenarios where you need them right now. But various matchups like Hulk can be quite beneficial, and he's a character that you can get quite easily after a couple of weeks of playing the game, so he's not too bad. Black Panther, oh, he's a little bit out of reach at the moment and not really worth talking about too much yet. We've got Bullseye, Punisher, Electro, Iron Fist, Elektra, should I say, instead of Electro. And all these characters, they're just a load of great single target damage for the most part. Punisher has an AoE. Bullseye, just all about that single target damage. Quite good, but not really too much utility in there. Punisher, again, quite good damage, not really too much utility. Elektra has a little bit of utility. She can dispel, has a very nice single target strike as her ultimate. Which can deal quite a lot of damage, especially when combined at early levels with a character like Spider-Man. Get the defense down, slap that ultimate, and you can gain a really good amount of damage there. Kind of same with Iron Fist. He's got a little bit of regeneration as well, but I find some of the most valuable stuff is really those top characters that we were talking about earlier, the ones that can summon minions, that can really like screw with the enemy team by slowing them down, throwing out that mass crowd control, or providing like such substantial benefit to some of the top options. Those are the characters that are really rearing ahead at the moment. And then we have what is it, Jessica Jones, great support character actually. She got a bit of a buff today. She is funneling out energy via her Shake It Off, which grants one ability energy guaranteed to free random allies, and also shrugs off negative effects. So if you're fighting a lot of stunners, a lot of crowd control characters, potential good counter for dealing with Quakes and a lot of CC teams. So yeah, I think Jessica Jones has actually become a little bit more valuable today, and also has the ability to remove positive effects from the opponent. So yeah, Jessica Jones is really, really a champion that's been coming up quite a bit. Ronan, at the moment, he's a little bit slow, but he's going to be great when a lot more Kree champions come in. If you have a big Kree team, like Ronan is all about that Kree team for the most part. But aside from that, I think those are, for the moment, we've dropped so much information in today's video, rattled off like for a good like 24 minutes. So hopefully you found this video quite useful, and it's given you kind of a base foundation of what's making a lot of the top characters, so good, and hopefully it's given you some tips and tricks on how to play. But ladies and gentlemen, I could go into a lot of detail on every single character and do a lot of spotlight videos, and I really want to do that. But let me know, ladies and gentlemen, in the comments below, what character videos do you want to see me go into on depth, because there's so much we can talk about in terms of synergies, team building, how to line up various attacks and position characters. Yeah, I love this game, man. There's so much depth, so much interest to the combat. So yeah, I'm really excited to make quite a few more Marvel Strike Force videos as the game further progresses. I'm super excited that the game is globally launched. I imagine today's been yeah, quite an interesting day. Like the patch that we had today wasn't the greatest for people that have been playing a long time, but you know, coming out of beta, like, you expect quite a few changes to come to the game. And if you're watching this video a few months down the line, like, some stuff has probably changed, but one of the things I want to get out as soon as possible is kind of a rough tier list for Marvel Strike Force to give you guys an idea, like, which champions are kind of worth investing in the community, a bit of an overall better direction on what champions are super good at the moment and which ones are kind of, you know, worth investing your stuff in. But the general rule is, like, most of the heroes are really dope and awesome. But ladies and gentlemen, let me know what Marvel Strike Force content you want to see in the comments below. Apart from that, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, feel free to smash that like button. That would be greatly appreciated. Apart from that, take care, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.